And it was the easiest 10 grand I honestly made, because it was like, I felt like I was just hanging out with friends, so.
Dude, that's a sick background. Where are you? It's like a fireplace, trees,
I know, right?
people having a merry time.
This is the Scott. So if you're ever in Scottsdale, when you come to Scottsdale, you gotta go to this place called the Scott. It's sick. It's just like, it's like a Cuban sort of like tropical vibe. Like they have bikes you can rent. It's so sick. I've been here for the last like 3 days in a row, just getting work done, because I'm working on obviously a few big projects. So it's like just grinding it out. It's so nice.
So you're not in the Gryffindor common room?
No, I wish, dude.
It's a magic happening over there. And yeah, dude, I'm really keen to go back to Scottsdale. I went there about 2 years ago, and it was a pretty crazy time. It's honestly like the perfect city, apart from the fact that it's in the middle of a fucking desert. If it wasn't in the middle of a desert, it would be like the best city in the world, I reckon. Like amazing entrepreneurial community, tons of very beautiful people, let's put it that way. And just good vibes all around. Everyone's real friendly. It's like that balance of everyone like is pretty damn successful. Like shitloads of wealth, tons of entrepreneurs. Like half the building I was in was just entrepreneurs. You go to like the basement floor and it's just like Lamborghini, Ferrari, Bentley, Aston, this and that, McLaren's everywhere. But they also like to like live it up and have fun, which is cool. It's like, I like that balance. So I definitely shall be back as soon as I can travel. And we'll have some fun, tear it up.
Hell yeah.
So dude, as I was saying before, man, super casual today. Just want to have like a chat, maybe like half an hour, kind of talk about you and your journey with CMB and generally as a freelancer as well, particularly the last month, because my goodness, have you had a hell of a transformation in, I guess, income and clients and business overall in the last, 30 to 60 days. So last month, 2 months ago in September, you did, was it $1,800? And then October was like 16 grand or something. Just.
Yeah. Literally. That's explosion. Exactly what happened. Like I was, it's like, I was sort of like, at that point with clients where had like a few clients that didn't pan out well. And then, I was working really hard with one, and the commissions that month just came in for 1,800. And like, that was all we made for the whole month. But his offer was pretty good. So like I stuck with it all the way. And that was my sole focus with him. And then I was like, fuck, like I need a few more clients here, don't I? And then it kind of happened, I guess, after like a course of like few months. It is a good feeling to like make almost 17K compared to, 1,800 the month before.
You don't say. That's a good 10x essentially in 1 month.
Yeah.
All you have to do now is just like do it again and just go up to 170K next month. You reckon you can do that?
We'll see about that.
No worries. Only 100x in 2 months. Crazy. Dude, so maybe like to give everyone a bit of context, if you could just walk us back to kind of the start of your journey in the whole freelancing space, or even the whole entrepreneurial space. I mean, you can take it back as far as you want. Probably need your entire life story, but just kind of like, I suppose the parts that are relevant.
For sure. Yeah. So I guess I could probably take it back, starting with Jason Capital's High Status Summit, going to those events. That's where I first met you. And I've been going to those things since like 2016. So I first heard about copywriting at Jason's event and didn't do anything with it. Just knew it was some cool skill that I could learn and make a lot of money with. It was something that was always in the back of my head. And then, like 2020 rolled around, and, we're friends on Instagram. So just seeing all your stories, your random Instagram stories that was just like totally random, but made sense when it came to making money online. And I was like, fuck, I think might as well hire Sean, like the person who I actually know. So just honestly, that's where it all started, was when I joined CMB with you. I probably would not be where I'm at today if I didn't make that commitment and join your program.
Yeah, well, it's really interesting, dude. That's it sounds like we have almost the same exact like timeline in terms of our sort of entrepreneurial journeys. It's like 2016 would have also been when I went to my first Jason Capital event, first of many, and discovered copywriting, kind of heard about it, didn't really do anything with it for a couple of years. That's really interesting. Similar path. Yeah. And then so in 2020, you joined us, you probably saw, I'm guessing just like, shitload of testimonials on my story all the time. Like, damn, I want a piece of this pie. I want some of this action.
Yeah, it was that. And like, for me, it was just the random, I just remember like one of your Instagram stories just about money itself. Like, I don't even know what you're teaching, but you're teaching it in such a weird way, like you're God or something. Like just your random stories that are like completely ass backwards, or that's what honestly got me. I was like, okay, like I understand, like I'm willing to learn from someone like that who's down to just have a little bit of fun too.
That's funny. I wish I could go back to my archive and see like exactly what story.
Yeah, me
I
too.
got you in. That's really cool. Okay, so you join us in CMB. At this point, do you have any skills yet? Like, have you already learned copywriting, chat closing, social media, anything? Or are you just
Nothing.
like,
Yep,
nothing?
I thought this was a copywriting course.
Yeah, right. Well, we do have so we kind of have two versions of the program, as I'm sure you're aware. We have like the main one, which is how it started, which is I only work with copywriters and help them to get clients. And then we had so many people coming to me basically just like, man, I don't know anything about copywriting. I'm not a copywriter. I don't even really know what copywriting is. I just see all these people on your stories making all this money, working from home, living life, traveling, and I want a piece of that action. Like, how can I do that as well? And then I just used to turn them all away. I was just like, oh, well, go learn copywriting from Stefan Georgi, Justin Goff, Craig Clemens, Hawaii, go take some course, I don't know, Alex Catoni or something, and then come back, right? And then I'll teach you how to get the clients to pay you. And after a while, I was like, man, what if like instead of just turning everyone away, we could actually like develop a copywriting sort of portion of the program to actually help people, teach them the skill first, and then teach them how to get clients. And then that's when, of course, I partnered with my friends Sam Robson and Tyler Ryan. So these dudes, if you're watching this, you haven't heard of him, they essentially have written for, I don't want to say every big name under the sun, but certainly a lot of them. So Grant Cardone, Ty Lopez, VShred, BioTrust, Joel Marion, Craig Ballantyne, you name it. The list just goes on. And they've basically written emails for companies that do up to like $100 million, $200 million a year. So I figured they're pretty damn qualified to teach email copywriting. They were my original copywriting mentors as well. And so it was an honor to sort of make them a part of the program. And then now that's our email domination course that we teach before teaching how to get clients. So that must have been like just starting out when you first joined us, right?
Yeah, that was one of the first courses I picked up too. It was like a few months after I was kind of learning copy, I don't know, just through books and like random stuff online, hand copying sales pages and stuff like that. I was like going all out, but I didn't go all out. The main reason I went all out was because I joined CMB, like just all the onboarding stuff just kind of flipped a switch in me and made me take massive amounts of action that I wouldn't have normally took.
Yeah. I mean, it's not strictly necessary, to be honest, to take any kind of like course or formal training to learn copywriting. Like a lot of you guys, obviously, you're familiar with Ray Pang and his story and his journey that I've talked about a lot before. And what surprises me the most about Ray is that when he first joined us, not only did he break the record at the time, which was fastest 0 to 10K a month, he did it in 30 days or 31 days, but he didn't actually, not only was he not a copywriter, he didn't take a single course or program whatsoever on copywriting. And he didn't tell me that until months later. And I was like, I was just baffled. I was like, how did you learn copywriting that quickly to, literally be working with people like Jordan Belfort a couple of months later, starting from literally zero, not even knowing what copywriting is basically. And then he basically just told me, right? He was just like, I basically just got onto everyone's list who was like, the big names in the industry. And I just studied their emails and I just kind of modeled them. And that was it. And then so he just kind of, took that same structure of the email, so it starts with an enticing subject line, then a hook, then maybe a story, then the lesson, and then like a transition into a call to action, basically. And so, he's noticing the similar patterns and structures in like all these emails that he's assuming are working well because these people are making millions of dollars. So he was like, man, I'll just model that and apply it to this niche. That's what he did. Worked out pretty well for him. So, yeah, I mean, obviously, it's always going to be better to learn directly firsthand from a mentor, from a coach, from someone who's had, years in the industry. They're really good at what they do. But, if you're balling on a budget and you just simply don't have the funds to make it work, then, of course, it's only down to your resourcefulness and, doing what you can there, studying the best in the game. Because a lot of people like don't realize is the best marketing in the world is out there literally sitting in front of you. Because the better it is, the more, it sort of spreads, right? Like the better an ad is doing, the more of a budget they'll give the ad. And so the ad will be everywhere, which means it's like literally sitting there right in front of you for you to study. It's like these things aren't hiding. Yeah, a lot of people kind of don't realize that. and make the switch to go, hey, dude, I can actually like literally just like learn this by modeling and studying it, sitting right in front of me.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool. Okay. So you joined us in August 2020. And so it seems like it's been a bit over a year from first joining us until like this massive exponential explosion. Now you're not necessarily at, a consistent 16K a month, because I know there were quite a few like one-time projects in there, but I know you're sure as hell not going to drop all the way back down to 1800. So it's not actually this uncommon to hear, like, I know the same thing happened to Dominic. He actually joined CMB. Seemingly nothing happened for about a year. To be honest, probably wasn't really taking as much action as he should have been. But literally in the space of like 1 month, he went from $0 to $30,000 a month, 30, seemingly just overnight, right? Of course, it's never overnight. You're always putting in the groundwork beforehand, and it just looks like it's overnight. But yeah, it seems like to be a similar thing with you. So what does your journey kind of look like over that year in terms of like, were you just trying a bunch of different services, a bunch of different niches, or were you just trying the same thing consistently, but it wasn't working for you? Or like, why do you think it kind of took that amount of time before just taking off?
Yeah. For me, it was, I think honestly, it was about the skill set itself of like copy. So, I mean, I was able to get clients here and there. But when it came down to delivering results and having them, consistently pay me, it's like, it really comes down to the results you're able to provide for your clients with copy that makes them want to obviously hire you again and pay you more money. So, it just took me that long to kind of like learn the skill and be good enough to get paid enough for it and like get paid consistently. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of why it took me that long. But I guess the journey like started, I was able to get clients really easily with CMB, obviously. And that gave me the access to like writing with money on the line. So I would write with money on the line and get better at copy, deliver better results. And yeah, it's just kind of a process of getting new clients, delivering results, learning copy, and then reinvesting back into the skill itself, obviously. So that's how it went down.
Yeah, right. Interesting. So it wasn't a matter of like you couldn't get clients. It was more just like getting clients was not hard at all after first joining CMB. But then was it more of a retention thing? Like you couldn't keep the clients that you were getting because you just weren't good enough to deliver the results they were after?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I like chose a pretty niche, like photography, filmmaking coaches. It's like a very, very niche. So there's only like, maybe 10 who are raking it in, and then the rest are all trying to scale their offers and stuff. So it would be a lot of clients who weren't the niche, here or there projects. But it started with 1K for my first client. It was like 1K, and then he had the mindset coaching program. And then I was working with him at 1K-ish for like 3 months. Then I brought on a few other clients, made my first 3,000, made my first 5,000. And then I dropped down to 1,000, 2,000, 1,800. And then last month was 17,000. So that's kind of how the played out in terms of month by month, I guess you could say.
Yeah, that's insane. Yeah, so it was really just a matter of obviously getting the skills right, which is what I tell everyone. It's like skill, it has to be number one. It has to be the most important thing at the end of the day. You can be the best at getting clients in the world, but, if you are unable to deliver results for them, they're not going to stick around, and you're just going to have to keep continuously looking for new clients. It's just really not the best way to go about it. So yeah, definitely take the time to get the skills. And a lot of people, you might be listening to this, you might be thinking, a whole year before you started making serious money. But it's like, I think a lot of people probably so used to hearing my just ridiculous like success stories of people who have come through, CMB, and in a matter of our fastest is 25 days. Luca, the 16-year-old high school kid, but people doing it in 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, a matter of just a few months, basically going from nothing to a 6-figure income a year. And they're probably just so jaded and kind of used to that now it's like, someone took a year, what took them so long and so slow. But it's like, really, you put it into perspective, and it's like to earn 16 or 17 or whatever it is, thousand a month in any kind of other field or job, like you would need years studying that thing, like pretty much to earn that kind of money. I mean, really, you're looking at being a lawyer, a doctor, a dentist, an engineer, or really, having your own business. But it's like, dude, how long, if you wanted to be a surgeon or some shit to earn that kind of money, like you're looking at a good 7 years of like medical school, got to get a PhD. Like, that's a real insane sacrifice. And then of course you're still working like a job, which means you're tied down, you know, you're answering to someone else, all that kind of stuff, which is not why most people get into the freelancer business in the first place. So it's like, I think it's having a bit of perspective to realize, you know, for most people that like, yeah, so what, maybe it takes you a year, maybe it takes you 2 years, even 3 years to get to, you know, a 10, 15, 20K a month income. Is that still worth it? Absolutely, dude. Wow, for me anyway. But yeah, congrats, dude. That's really, really cool. What do you think, like, if you really had to pick like one or two things that really made that difference from September to October, what was it? Was it just, you know, right place, right time, the stars kind of aligned and, you know, just a few good big opportunities came up at the same time? Or was there, you have a call with Ari, the miracle worker, and she just put the mindset straight or something? Like that's happened a few times.
Yeah. For me, it's again, like really having the niche, really having your niche down. I think that really made the difference because I've been able to work with so many like high level names in my niche. Then the person who I got on the call with, it was really like a no brainer. And they were, you know, also probably knew the person, this other really big name influencer in the niche as well, like personally. So it's like the niche and then just like networking with these people actually in person. Like when I closed this first 10K deal or whatever it was, I had the 1,800 in my account, right? And I like literally flew to Tulum, from Phoenix to Tulum, because I had two of my clients who I was working with. One was a free trial, and then one was my main client who I've been working with for months. And two of them were out there. So I went with like this thing in my mind that I was going to make money on this trip and meet my clients, hang out with them in person, build that rapport and that relationship. And it's in the niche I want to hang out with, like photographers, videographers. These people are really great at creating content, you know? So it's like being able to be around that is a plus, I guess, in the niche I'm in. So yeah, it really just came down to like networking and driving down, like really niching down in a specific niche to the point where, you know, when I got on this call with them, they knew where I was, they knew who I was hanging out with, they knew who I've worked for, that it was almost like a no brainer. Like, of course, let's work together, you know? And so the closing call, the sales call was just like super casual, super easygoing. And it was the easiest 10 grand I honestly made because it was like, I felt like I was just hanging out with friends, you know? So that's basically what it all came down to. Yeah, I honestly live a wildly different life from what I used to live.
Yeah, but dude, I mean, think about like that's a seriously bold move to basically take like, hey, I have like less than 2 grand in my bank account, and I'm going to spend, I don't know, whatever, half of that on basically flying, to, you know, Mexico, right? And to meet these people, because I know, hey, there's a big event happening. There's a bunch of people in my, you know, niche hanging out here, and to really like make that kind of bet on yourself, going like, hey, I'm going to go there. I don't know, a fucking single person. I'm going to infiltrate this circle. I'm going to befriend these people. And, you know, I'm going to see if I can help them out and then see if I can maybe get some clients from it. And like, dude, that's a bold move that frankly, a lot of people would just not have the balls to do. Right. So
yeah,
pat on the back, man, for making that move. I know it's like Ray did a very similar thing. It's a very common sort of trend among the people who have done really, really well, not just in CMB, but in the entrepreneurial space. It's like, you look at Ray, he did exactly the same thing. My friend Wade Fox, this is an interesting one. He was looking for a copywriter. This was like 2 years ago. And I introduced him to about 5 people inside of CMB. You know, they did the usual, like they responded with a text message or a voice message. I think James sent a video DM. Ray literally flew from Melbourne. This is back when we could fly. Back from Melbourne to Brisbane. So it's about, I don't know, 2-3 hour flight, literally just to have lunch with Wade, just to meet him. And then flew back to Melbourne same day. So it was like literally just like boom, lunch, boom, back. And because of that, really him just willing to bet on himself and show up. And obviously Ray, like he'd been made redundant from his job at this point. So like the dude did not have a lot of money, and he's rapidly running out of it because he doesn't have any income coming in, right? And to make that kind of move and bet on himself, it's something it's scary, right? Not a lot of people have the balls, frankly, to do that, right? And obviously that paid off pretty well for Ray. Him and Wade ended up starting a business together. It's called Speaker Agency. And I literally just had an event 2 weekends ago where they celebrated hitting over $2 million a year. They're rapidly scaling up to about $5 million a year. And it's been just a wild ride for the both of them ever since. So I'm blessed to have been the one to introduce them. But really, it was like Ray that really bet on himself, flew to a different city, and to put yourself in the same environment around these people. And it's something you'll hear, people like Justin Goff talking about all the time. When, whenever he gets asked, it's like, oh, what's the best way to get clients as a copywriter? He'll tell you the same thing every single damn time, right? He'll say live events, which can be tricky, of course, during the pandemic, depending on your travel situation. But really, that's where I've made all of my best connections, friends, business partners, clients, all of that stuff is just meeting these people, in person, breaking bread with them. And frankly, like the after party, like you're all like hanging out, getting drunk together pretty much. And that's really where like a lot of these relationships actually happen, like in the real world, and a lot of business deals actually happen. These kind of events really just where everyone's kind of getting loose, having fun. And if you can at all put yourself in a situation to attend any kind of live events where your prospects are hanging out, where potential clients are hanging out, then for the love of God, like do it. Do whatever you can. You have to fly there. You have to sleep in your freaking car. You have to drive for 2 days. Like do it. Honestly, that's something that's paid off infinitely for me and so many others that I know, and clearly for you as well. So that's killer. And I know you also, like, it wasn't just that. I mean, you literally moved to Scottsdale, didn't you?
Oh yeah.
For this environment thing, and you had like almost no money at the time.
Oh dude, like that was the scariest commitment on it out of all of them. Like the Tulum thing was like, yeah, I'm gonna fucking make it happen. Like I wasn't scared. I was like, it's go time. It's a done deal. It's no brainer. Of course, both my clients are there. I'm just gonna provide value. So, but the Scottsdale, when I first moved here, like what is it? It's like $1,200 a month for rent. That was the scariest thing. I was like, there's no way I could ever afford that. Like, I've never done that. I've never it was my first time like really going out on my own and like living on my own. I was in college before, but that was like $700 a month, which wasn't crazy. And then at one point I was even like sleeping on a floor because after I graduated college, I didn't even graduate, I just dropped out. And then after I dropped out, I still wanted to pole vault and do like athletics and all that stuff. So I was like training full time with the elite team here in Arizona, but I didn't have a place to stay because the college thing was done and my parents were like, yeah, whatever. And so I just found a friend and he let me stay on his floor for like $250 a month, literally $250 a month. And then it was like later he renovated it. It was like $500 a month, whatever. That was the only experience I had of like actually having to pay for rent. And I was like working a coffee shop job then, but $1,200 a month, I was like, oh shit. Like, for the whole month, I think I made like $2,000 the month before. And then the month before that was maybe $1,000. And then the month before that, never had I made anything over like $1,000. So that was scary. And I was like, fuck it. Like, we'll make it happen. We'll make it work. And yeah, it's worked out. I haven't missed a day of rent since.
Yeah. For sure, dude. That's a hell of a move. Where'd you come from?
Yeah. I was in LA at my parents.
Right. Okay, yeah. So you not only moved out of your parents' house, but like to a completely different city, one that's frankly quite expensive. What made you make that decision? Like, how did you know Scottsdale was the right place for you? Like that, just have a gut feeling? Was it a logical decision? What gave you that conviction to go like, dude, fuck it, I'm doing this. I know I have to do this. I know this is the right place to be.
Yeah, man. I mean, so obviously I moved in with Rafi and Don. They're two other chat closers. And Rafi just kind of put me over the edge. He was like, I just need to hear from you. Like, you're going to make it happen. And I was like, fuck, like, yeah, let's do it. Like, I guess, because it made sense because the month before I had, I didn't make anything the month before, but the month before that I had made $2,000. So it was like, okay, if I'm making $2,000, if I can make $2,000, like I just told myself I'm at $2,000 a month. And I was like, I should be fine. And so, yeah, I just took a bet, and it was with people I trusted and knew from CMB. So, they're my roommates, and yeah, it was like we live in like a mastermind, CMB mastermind house. So it's sick.
Yeah, that's gangster. Yeah. So it was mainly an environmental decision to go like, hey, there's already two people living in this place who I know, who are crushing it. Obviously being around them every day, we can all help each other out. We can mastermind, as you say, and all kind of raise each other up. And obviously your chances of succeeding when you're surrounded by other people who are crushing it are just infinitely higher than you living, by yourself, or even worse, in an environment that really like holds you back and drags you down. Full of people that don't think, like entrepreneurs, they only think, kind of 1 week at a time, paycheck to paycheck. What am I doing, this weekend? How can I make this week go as fast as possible so I can have fun on the weekend and then do it again kind of thing. It's just like going through the motions, which can obviously like hold you back a lot as an entrepreneur because they don't really understand the concept of long-term thinking and delayed gratification. So yeah, dude, that was a hell of a move. Man, if you had to pick like a few things from CMB, I'd suppose, that have helped you out the most, it sounds like you got pretty damn good at getting clients pretty quickly. That was never an issue for you with the program. Yeah. Which of the methods were your like favorites for getting clients?
Yeah, it's like a combination. It all came down to the follow-ups. Like that's the biggest thing people overlook is following up. And that's like the biggest high income activity you could do. So what I would do is like the John Buchan strategy and then send out personal video DMs to follow up and then along with his other follow-up strategy. So those are the biggest payoff skills. It's just like the cold email stuff and then the DM strategy that you give us, the video DM strategy. I like kind of made my own video DM through what you gave us in CMB and just kind of combined the strategies together into one personalized version of it. So I got it down to a script and I memorized it, and any client I wanted to work with, I would film the video and send it over DM or just send it in email itself. So that's what it came down to. Yeah, like anytime I need clients, I just use the scripts and they work.
Yeah, that's killer. So mainly just doing the emails with John Buchan stuff and then the video DMs on Instagram. And really it's obviously the following up is the part that is so overlooked and most people just like never really bother to take the time to do it, not realizing that's like literally where like 80% of your clients and results will come from. 20% of the effort, that's like 80% of the results.
No, exactly. Like sometimes I'll get questions on like how to get clients and stuff, and I'll help them out a little bit. And then what they say is like, you sure follow up? Like, should I follow up? It's been 5 days. It's been 7 days. I'm like, dude, you should have followed up, every 2 days is like industry standard of following up. So it's weird for people because I think people are used to like playing this blasé sort of, cool personality that you don't want to look like whatever, I don't know. But when it comes to business, too desperate, too needy. But when it comes to business, that's like, you want to follow up. You want to be that annoying guy because then it shows you're actually serious. And for whatever reason, people don't do it, but it works.
Yeah, there's certainly a way to do it without coming across needy and desperate and being that like annoying guy. I guess making jokes about your persistence, that kind of thing, and the way obviously John Buchan kind of does it with we like to call it playful persistence. So it's kind of like you're not just saying like name still there. Are you there? Are you ignoring me? Like question mark? Like that would be like, dude, like relax, like get away from me. But there's a certain way of doing it, obviously, that we talk about that is a lot, it's a lot more enticing and kind of charming, I suppose, as well. But yeah, a lot of people I think don't like the idea of following up because it's like, they don't feel like high status, you know what I mean? They kind of feel like the one chasing, pursuing, and it's like, dude, I heard Jason Capital says ages ago, but he's completely right. It's like, what's high status? Getting the fucking money, getting the client, like building a dream life. That's freaking high status, right? So yeah, you've seemed to have worked that out and working out pretty damn well for you, which is really, really cool. In terms of like actually finding people to, reach out to in terms of you're emailing them, you're DMing them. I just want to make this kind of as helpful and valuable to the people who are still watching this and haven't, fucked off to go watch like prank videos or something by this point. Where are you actually finding most of these people?
Yeah, man. So like the Instagram drop-down menu is really exactly what it came down to. That and just
related accounts.
Related accounts. Finding, again, it all came down to me really choosing a strong niche, like a niche that is growing, a niche that has money and people, a niche where people are buyers and something that I actually enjoy and have the experience in as well. So like that niche, I found exactly like who would be my dream client in this niche, and then I just hit that drop down menu and just went through all the related accounts, went through their related accounts. It's like endless amounts of clients are there. And then I found their email, or first qualified them if they have a course, if they have something they're selling that I can help them with and that I can provide value to them. If they did have some type of thing I can help them out with when it came to copy, then I would just I'd find their email and send them that email. So that's the strategy I took.
Yeah, so you could find their email from their Instagram profile, then you would send them an email. If you couldn't, then you would send them a video DM.
Exactly. Yeah.
And is there something that you were kind of screening for when you were looking at all these people's like profiles, or were you just video DMing like everyone who seemed like they were pretty, successful, had a lot of followers, and seemed like they had a decent business?
Yeah, I've even tried hiring like VAs to find clients for me, but I'm super picky when it comes to choosing who I work with. And so
Yeah,
I would
as you should
always, like I'm always like looking for if they sort of have the travel influencer vibe, if they're more on like the, I don't know, let's say like just wedding videographers that pass, but they obviously need to have some type of offer. They need to have a course. They need to be collecting emails. That's probably the best situation, is when they have an email list already. Then that's an easy way for me to add value. And if I see their ads somewhere, like if I get targeted by their ads, then usually that's a good sign that they're a prospect.
Yeah. So one, it's a sign that they have money. Two, it's a sign that they're willing to invest it into the growth of their business and the growth of their email list, which is all just like music to your ears. So yeah, it's especially a sign that they're actually taking their shit seriously and they're serious about growing and scaling, which is the kind of clients you want to work with. So basically criteria for you is kind of like someone who, they have the travel influencer vibe. They are selling a course in some way, which you can probably deduce from their highlight reels, maybe their stories, maybe what they're talking about in their posts. So you kind of quickly just flick through a few of those, and then maybe like the link in their bio as well to see where that takes them to. If it's a funnel opt-in page, you can usually probably get a pretty good sense just from going through, that first opt-in page, the funnel, to kind of see if they know what they're doing or not, and if they're on the right track, then obviously that's where you can come in and really help them as a copywriter, to optimize their emails, the welcome sequence, the landing page, whatever they might need help with, So that's pretty much your process.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly that.
Yeah. I like it. That's really simple. A lot of people really it baffles me like how many people just can't find clients or they don't know where to look. And it's just like exactly what you said. I've been saying this for like 3 years, where Instagram is like still probably my favorite place, at least to find people. Because if they have hundreds of thousands of followers, their chances of getting back to you aren't extremely high, on Instagram itself. But it's still a great place to find them. And you can also, you can always reach out to them somewhere where it's less crowded, where they have less followers, less messages going on. You know what I mean? Because the chances of them seeing your message and replying to it, if they're getting hundreds of a day, then it's just like it's too easy to get lost in the pile. But it's still a great place to actually find people, especially because the algorithm literally just helps you. It's like Spotify, right? It's just like you find one person, you hit that drop down button, or you hit follow, and then it comes up with a whole row of like, oh, you follow this person, you might like to also follow. Boom, these other 20 people who are just like also prime niche prospects. And it's just like bang, bang, bang. You just go down that rabbit hole for as long as you need to, of related accounts of them, and then of them. You have hundreds of prospects right there. Dude, that's really, really cool. I like how you're keeping it simple, you know what I mean? And you're just kind of, picking the most simple thing that works for you, and just rinsing and repeating. No need to reinvent the wheel and make it more complicated than it needs to be, which a lot of people like to do for some reason.
Yeah.
Is there, if you had to pick maybe like 2 or 3 things from CMB itself that has maybe helped you the most or had the most profound impact on you, your business, your life in general? It could be like, hunting strategy. It could even be a mindset thing, something to do with closing, or even like the productivity stuff, the networking stuff, even the Facebook group and the community. Like out of every basically aspect or element of, the CMB program as a whole, if you had to pick like a couple things that have made the biggest difference for you, what would you say those would be?
Yeah, I mean, definitely the community for sure. Like obviously I live with 2 CMB members, so that's kind of a game changer for sure.
Yeah, especially when they're, already making 6 figures.
Yeah, like the community is one of the biggest ones. Like there's not a community like CMB. When you buy a course, there's no fucking Facebook group like CMB. I've checked.
I've been through a lot of courses as well. I don't mean to toot my own horn here, but it is like kind of, it's something I'm really proud of, the community that we've built. And we do select people, and we do turn down people who they want to join, but they're just not a good fit. And I can tell that they're kind of just, I don't know, they're too rude, or they're a bit arrogant, or they're kind of just, they're not the vibe that I'm looking for. And I know it only really takes 1 or 2 bad apples to like ruin the bunch, right? It's a cliche saying for a reason, right? But yeah, dude, I am tremendously proud, and I completely agree with what you're saying, that I've never been a part of a course or program that has really like a Facebook group that's like as active and willing to help each other out as this one. Like I'm always amazed where it's like, I log in to answer some questions and help people out, and the question was posted 9 hours ago and there's already like 6 answers, and I'm like, I don't even need to answer it because you guys have already like answered it. Like I couldn't have given a better answer. Like you guys nailed it. So it's just like what they said, you know what I mean? and makes my life easy. But yeah, it is really cool community for sure.
Yeah, that's the main thing. Other thing that's been a game changer, like overall, is honestly the on-ramp section in CMB. That like just flipped a switch in my brain to take this shit seriously, like to really take copy this your course, like everything seriously. And from that, it's like how you do one thing is how you do everything. So ever since then, it's never turned off. You know what I mean? Like it is not turned off. Like the challenges you give, the implementation strategies, like all that has like rubbed off on every aspect of my business and my life. Just really having that next level of seriousness.
Yeah, it's really cool. It is something I talk about, in OnRamp. I talk about kind of like I call it the Gary V model of entrepreneurial success, I suppose, versus like my model, right? And, Gary Vee is just like, oh, you got to grind your face off, for 5 to 10 years and just like try everything and anything under the sun and like a pinball kind of bounce between everything. And eventually you'll find something, you'll have some success, but you basically got to like sacrifice your entire 20s, to like hit 6 or 7 figures. And I'm like, dude, like you don't need 5 to 10 years. Like that's completely ridiculous. Like literally, if you just take this shit seriously and really put in the work, put in the effort, put in the energy, the time, put in the hours, as many hours as you can every day, 6 days a week. If you can do like 6 hours a day, 6 to 8 hours a day, 6 days a week, and really like go all in on it and just attack it hard, then you really only need like 3 to 6 months and you really should be there. If you have the right strategies, you really should be at 6 figures. And I think it's most people kind of just like to dip their toe in the water and kind of just half-ass it and they wonder why they're not succeeding, right? The people who crush it with this are the ones who just go all in from day one. And that's really the only way to do it, to do it and to succeed in this space. Like, there really is no room to kind of like half attempt it, half-ass it. It's kind of like, you try to catch 2 rabbits, you catch none kind of thing, because you're just half trying to catch both, right? If you're trying to do anything by halves, like the chances of succeeding aren't very high at all, right? So you really do need to jump in and just go for it, which you've done. And it's clearly worked out pretty well for you. So that's
exactly.
Cool. Yeah. So what have you got like coming up? I know like a lot of this is one-time projects. Where do you kind of foresee your client situation, your income, and your business over the next sort of few months? Do you expect it to kind of stay around that 16K level? Maybe drop down a little bit because it was one-time projects, but what do you got coming up? What's on the horizon for you?
Dude, yeah. So this is the first time I'm sharing this, but for the last 10, 12 years of my life, I have focused purely on pole vaulting, being the best athlete I can be, like going all in, making that my life purpose. And recently with this, 16K month, with the new clients, with the Tulum thing, I recently decided to really go all in on this shit, like really go all in on copywriting. I was on the phone with Elliot Holst the other day, and we were just talking about this because he's sort of one of my coaches as well. And he was like, you're at the point where you have this sort of light that's dimming and this other light that's like growing. And for me, that's what it is. It's like sort of just losing interest in pole vaults. It doesn't excite me as much. I find myself like dreading it. But when I think about ending that, like totally ending that, I actually get a lot more energy. I feel a lot more free and just ready to take on copy, which is that light that's brightening, So being able to travel, being able to hang out with all my clients, I can't necessarily do that when I'm locked into training, 6 hours a day, 6 days a week, basically for 365 days. Like literally we get like 2 weeks off, where I used to have like 2 weeks off out of the whole year to just be back. And, the rest of it's like really, cause I train with like Olympic level people, right? Like world-class athletes and stuff. So yeah, I mean, that was my life. Right. But now it's just recently, like this all happened in the last like 2 weeks after I got back from Tulum. It all sort of came to light for me. So
came to light like that fire behind you, burning nice and bright, nice and hot. Yeah, no, that sounds like it's really exciting. Like a new chapter for you on the horizon over the coming months and years. There's no more exciting feeling than just being completely amped about the work that you're doing every day. Waking up excited to crush it and really like see what you can fulfill, in terms of your potential. So I'm looking forward to seeing that, and I'm looking forward to what next year holds for you.
Oh yeah, you as well.
It's gonna be big. It's gonna be real big.
The next few months are going to be literally hanging out with my clients. Like I'm going back to Mexico in December and hanging out with one of my clients for like a few weeks. And then we're probably going to go somewhere else in the world. Also have Bali planned in March. So that's going to be sick. Maybe if you're out that way, we can link up if I'll make a pit stop in Australia, or you can meet me in Bali. But
Did you know what's funny? I went to
yeah,
like
what's up?
45 countries, I think, something like that. I still have not been to freaking Bali. It's like a couple hours, Indonesia. It's like right there. An amazing place. Everyone goes there for a reason. But it's like, yeah, shit. I need to do that one next year for sure.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I have all this travel plan with all my clients, and every time I like go on these trips, I just make more money. So I foresee the next few months are going to be around that 8 to 10K mark. And I'm looking to obviously scale because I'm going to be putting a lot more energy. I'll have a lot more focus since I have kind of done with pole vaulting, which first time I've ever really sharing that, but sort of completely done with pole vaulting and just going all in on copy. So I should be able to have more time for clients and make, around on the low end, like 5K be like my lowest month, maybe. And that would be me freaking out, Yeah, man, it's like, it's looking good.
Absolutely, dude. Final piece of advice to anyone watching this who maybe they're in your circumstance or where you were, a few months ago at least. Maybe they are a copywriter, a budding copywriter. They want to get into it. Maybe they've already got a client or two and they're having some level of success, maybe stuck at that couple $1,000s a month. Like they're not really, pro, they're not full time yet. They're kind of just in that limbo point where they're not making enough to do it full time, but they're still like above zero. So they're kind of in that halfway stage. What bit of advice would you give to them or have to give to them in terms of how to get to where they are and out of that limbo stage into really fully crushing this, doing it full time, making 6 figures a year, and having more importantly, like the freedom to work on your own time, your own hours, be able to travel, just, pick up your bags and fly to Mexico, fly to Bali, whenever the hell you want to meet up with your, clients and friends and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. What would you say to those people if you had to give them one or two pieces of, nuggets of advice?
Yeah, I would say, again, the biggest thing for me and probably for someone who's like that is just choosing a niche and really like choosing a very, hold on, these people are really loud here. Let me move for a sec because they've been acting up. All right, other fireside. Yeah, no, I mean, for real, like I think the biggest thing is just choosing that niche. Like really niching down. And again, like the way you discover your niche is through, what you have experience in, what you like doing. And what's the third one?
The three criteria I like to have is, what you're passionate about, what you have some kind of experience in, or you might be good at. And then the other one is just frankly, it being realistic in terms of its ability to actually pay you.
Yeah.
The money that you're kind of looking for.
Yeah. I mean, like that has been the game changer for me. If just focusing on that, when you can be the only copywriter for that niche, or maybe not the only, but the best, maybe it's health and fitness, like, and you can niche that down even further, right? Like yoga, health and fitness people, or supplements for this specific person or something like that, because it's pretty saturated. But like for me, I'm kind of one of the only copywriters for the travel influencer content creation space, because that's what I'm passionate about. I just love being around cameras and stuff like that. And since I'm one of the only ones, it's just like a no-brainer to say that I've worked with these people and these people. And it's just like, it makes it way easier, because when you're just some general copywriter, like that's when you're going to struggle the rest of your life. You does stuff on Upwork or whatever.
Yeah, I tell people this all the time. It's like choosing a niche is so important. And it's not necessarily like you're boxing yourself in and carving it in stone forever that you can only serve this niche. Yeah. But it really is mainly just for branding purposes, right? So it's like, let's say you're like a mechanic and you're looking to hire a copywriter to grow your freelance mechanic business or whatever. If there's two copywriters and one of them's like, hey, I'm a freelance copywriter for mechanics, and the other one's like, I'm just a copywriter, it's not even close. Like, which one do you think he's going to choose? It's like this one every single time. Even if there's the same skill level and ability, even if this guy might be slightly better, it's like the fact that this person serves your particular niche and your market, your prospects and clients will just assume that you're better, right? You're more knowledgeable in the space. You maybe know certain things that the generalist doesn't, whatever it may be. It's just like you try to talk to everyone, you talk to no one, right? It's like you're going fishing and you just cast your net out into the ocean. The holes are so wide, aka your messaging is so wide and spread thin that the fish just swim right through and you don't catch anything. It's the same thing with niche. So
Yep. Yeah, that's the biggest thing. Other than that, it's probably joining CMB. I mean, it's been ultimate game changer for me, obviously. So
it sounds like it so far. Yeah. Well, man, you heard it from the man himself. All right. Well, it's not me saying it. Cameron said it. Yeah, that's really cool. So focus on your niche, and then obviously just getting around a really good community of, you know, people of copywriters, freelancers, people trying to do similar things to you, and then obviously having the actual strategies that work. Kind of obviously, I'm assuming the super about TMB, that's actually made a big difference for you. So you can get those two things at all. They conveniently come in a nice package in TMB, but yeah, those really, having the right strategies, choosing a niche, and then being around a really helpful and supportive community that raises you up and frankly helps you out. It takes the time to give you the help and advice that you need on your way up. You really can't fail. If you combine that with actual, like, you know, motivation, drive, you put in the effort, you put in the time, then really there's no way to fail with this.
Exactly.
It takes you a year before you're smashing $16,000 months.
Yeah. I mean, I literally came from like zero skills, you know, like I had no skill set in entrepreneurship whatsoever. Like I knew about copy, but that was it, you know? And so I joined in August. Now here I am 1 year later making close to 17 grand. Right. And so it's crazy. Like I knew it was going to take me longer. I honestly had it like in my mind that like, there's no way this could work for me. There's no way. I've tried everything, you know. I thought I tried everything and take that much action, but it felt like I had like tried everything. My situation was too different, too unique. You know, your solution is not going to work for me. But yeah, like it's crazy. Some struggling athlete to 17K basically.
Yeah, that's insane. You must have been a pretty damn good pole vaulter, by the way. After saying that much, I want to see you in action one day. Yeah, dude, really goes to show that like no matter what your background is, you know, what age, gender, ethnicity, what kind of, you know, family or background or profession or career you come from, your level of skills and proficiency in digital marketing, entrepreneurship, like really, you know, we've proven with all our variety of success stories of different people from different backgrounds and ages and all that, that literally anyone can do this. If they really apply themselves and they learn the strategies, there's like literally no reason why anyone can't make this work.
Yep.
As you have done. Cameron Cruz. Dude, appreciate you a ton for taking the time today, man. I know we've had to reschedule this a couple of times. So yeah, I do appreciate you carving out the time. I know you're a busy man. You got a lot of things to do, a lot of clients to work with, a lot of fun trips to take. So appreciate you hanging out with me today, man, and having a chat. It's been fun.
Yeah, you as well, brother.
Awesome, dude. Well, I'll leave you to it, man. I'll let you get back on with the rest of your day. Don't know what you have planned, but I'm sure it's fun / productive. I need to get back to work now. I've just had the most ridiculous kind of 3-day birthday party. It was just wild. So yeah, since Friday, been pretty much just feeding the beast. The beast is very full. The beast is stuffed. So yeah, now it's definitely time to get back to work and make some shit happen. So I'm gonna do that. You crush the rest of your day, man, and we'll talk soon, brother.
All right, man. Talk soon. Peace.